So it finished Forest 2, United 2. Forest cheated again. But should we have done better? Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. We got some OG settings here. Ditched Rob, ditched Ben. It's back to old school. We might as well get Dino one, properly make it old school gore. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribed, make sure as well to check out the sponsors. OK Jerseys, you can get your shirts for £15. Use code FFTV for 8% off. There wasn't technical issues. I was just trying to get Ez to be able to control the comments because with my hand. So apologies, I can't bring as many comments up today. But yeah, we got loads to talk about. Like, where do we start? Should we start with what Forest have done and after these attacks on the train?
Oh yeah. I'd just like to well, first of all, pass on my best regards to the people that are actually involved in the incident. If those that don't know, 10 people were stabbed on a train yesterday, and amongst those that were stabbed were Forest fans, some of which actually tried to disarm the perpetrators. So big up to them, brave men, and let's hope and pray that they're all okay. I mean, so far, you know, I think there are 2 that are in life-threatening conditions. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter whether they're Forest fans or not, but anyway. And I'd like to thank Mr. Marinakis. He's put the full support of the club behind those involved, and he's offered to pay all medical bills for them. So, you know, once again, Mr. Marinakis shows what the kind of guy he is and how he's part of our community. So big up to him.
Yeah, and it's very personal to me. I take that train and have a lot for work because it stops Peterborough, Huntingdon, St. Neots, and then King's Cross. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you always see it on the news, and it's like it never feels like it's on your doorstep. And this one, big up.
It's always surreal, isn't it? When you see it happening to other people, it's surreal. You know, you can't really.
And then you're like, that's
that kind of thing actually happens to people. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So big up to Forest, and hopefully anyone is affected by it, even like secondhand. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but who does take that? It's a popular commuter train, very popular.
Well, you're absolutely right, because people often downplay the trauma that affects those that. I mean, I went to Hillsborough. That had a massive effect on me for a long time. You know, so you know, and obviously I wasn't directly involved. You know, I was at the game, but I could see what was happening, and it had a terrible effect. So for anybody that sees that, you know, I've heard reports of where they said, people running through just covered in blood and stuff. I mean, bloody hell, you know, it's not what you expect on the way back from a football game, is it? So it must be awful for them as well. They must be traumatized.
And it does put into perspective, as we always say, there are bigger things than football matches. But we're here to talk about the football, because boy, was it crazy yesterday. Like, I don't know, you're at the game, man. Like, how was it from a seat perspective? Where were you, in the Trent?
I was in the Trent end, good seat behind the goal. Had a very, very, very good view of the ball line incident, which I'm sure we'll briefly touch on at some point. But heading towards the match, both me and my brother, neither of us had any enthusiasm. Now, normally when we're playing Man U, no matter what, even if we're down low and they're up high, well, which we are at the moment, but you know what I'm saying, it's still normally an exciting match. I gotta be honest, guys, neither of us were up for it. But as the first half went on, the first thing I have to say, right, Man U could have gone second yesterday, so a 2-2 draw is very creditable. I'm actually okay with the result. We could have won, so there's always that little bit, but we could have lost. Yeah. So a 2-2 is a good result. But as we were going through the first half, I turned to my brother and I said, for a team that could go second in the league, Man U, they're nothing special. They really were nothing special. You know, it looked, if I'm honest, it looked like 2 average teams yesterday. The only thing I would say is that, in my opinion, it's more likely for Man U to go down in form and us to go up than the other way around. I felt that we were on the up. obviously, I'll touch briefly. It wasn't a corner. Okay, I think most people accept that. Although the first thing I heard when I got in the car on Talk Sport was this woman saying, "Man, you were very unlucky to lose, and it was definitely over the line." I'm not saying the media are biased, but that was the first thing I heard, and I was a little surprised. And yeah, so half time, 1-0, very disappointed. But, you know, again, there's still that passion missing. Second half, however, to get 2 goals in a couple of minutes, that kind of got me going a little bit. Kind of got me going. And I thought overall we played really well. My favourite player right now, and he has been for the last couple of games, is Savona. I think that he looks a really good player. He can cross the ball well. He could defend well. And he was in the centre forward position for his goal. What was he doing there? You know, so yeah, he looks a good player. So I'm really happy that throughout this dark period that we've been having, at least he's shone. We've got something exciting. Terrible when Douglas Luiz went off. That's when I thought my head really dropped, and I thought we'd lost all hope, if I'm honest. But I thought it'd be all right because Sangare will come on, and I actually think that Sangare and Anderson's a very solid midfield, you know. But apparently Ryan Yates is a better football player than Ibrahim Sangare, so you know. Although I didn't see him do a single fucking thing all game except pass back, so I was a bit disappointed. Hey,
you got the assist.
Yeah, I know. Listen, that can happen, can't it? Come on.
You can't say he didn't do a single thing, man. He was all right.
All right. Listen. Yeah, but he is not a forward-looking player. I'm not saying I'm not saying he made it worse for us. I'm not saying that it was his fault we only drew. I'm not saying that, but I believe that more creative player, which Sangare is, he can pass the ball forward very well indeed. Would have given us more chances going forward because we had chances. Man U's defense, forget it.
Terrible.
You know. Yeah. So that was a little gripe. I'm not going to go mad on it. It wasn't a disaster. It wasn't the end of the world. But I personally thought that a more positive substitution would have been a benefit at that time because we had nothing to fear from Man U. That first half, particularly, I was not worried. I was not worried, apart from corners, of course, which I'm sure Mr. Dice will address. So yeah, that's about it, really. I know I don't sound over the moon, but we drew at home. So I can never go too mad, even though it's against a team that's in form, and it's Man U as well, and they weren't great. So I'll pass on to you, Ed, because I've not really got that much to say about it. It was a
it turned into another game of 2 halves, didn't it? Because I thought the first half we were really poor, to be honest. We gave them too much space. It took about half an hour for us to realize we didn't need to be that deep. You know, the only threat they had was Chesko, and he's got no pace, so you don't need to worry about the ball over the top. We could have played a lot higher. Yeah, he is rubbish, and we could have played a lot higher and been a lot more aggressive in that first half. I felt we sat off way too much and gave him too much respect. But again, it was a decision that went against us. But it was a reaction from the players, you know, and you can see the heads down in the center of a goal before the corner's been taken, and it's obviously affected the way we've defended it. It was really poor defending. Again, another a free header. Murillo, for me, should have jumped. He didn't jump at all.
One of the smallest players on the pitch as well, as by the way, Casemiro.
Absolutely. So we can discuss the wrong award, because I mean it goes back to Nuno's first game, that Bolly sending off, that shouldn't have been a second yellow card, but they couldn't review it. Now I believe that rule has now changed this season. They can review yellow cards. Now, how many times do we have to get these kind of decisions? So that's two week games in a row, 2 Premier League games in a row where corner's been given that shouldn't have been a corner. And it can be reviewed, and it would only take, I mean, Daesh said it'll take 5 seconds. It wouldn't take quite 5 seconds, but you understand what he means. You know, you could quite easily check that and either say it's not.
I thought 3 seconds.
Well, it wouldn't take long. I worry it wouldn't take long.
All you got to do is say, you haven't even got to stop the game. Just any contentious decision, like just say the ball was in.
Yeah. So, but I think 2 separate matters, because the way we defended the corner was atrocious, and it's not changed and it's not improved. And I think it's something that really needs to be looked at, and I'm sure we are looking at it, but it isn't improving. It's not. Again, every single set piece they took seems to be a threat, and I don't get it. I mean, we saw the same against Porto when they played against us. We're susceptible at set pieces, and they're taking short corners. I'd be whipping it into the box every single time and putting our defenders under pressure. But the second half, we did come out better. I will touch on the Yates substitution, because I think what Ant is saying is what a lot of the fans are thinking. It's not that we don't want to be dissing the player, but he just doesn't inspire the fans. When you see him coming on with 20 minutes gone, because it was quite early, wasn't it? That
16 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, it wasn't long into the game. And you're thinking, is that a mentality going forward? It just doesn't inspire me when he comes on. Saying that, he had a decent game. He had a Yates-type game. He did contribute to the Morgan Gibbs-White goal, and I think he did some other things really well, but it took him a little while to get into the game, and he still, I think with what we had on the bench, because we had McAtee on the bench as well, and obviously Sangare, who you've mentioned, there were options, and when are we going to start using our options? Go on.
Sorry, I just got to interrupt you. Was that Yates' cross for Morgan Gibbs-White?
Yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant, guys. I'm sorry, I take it back. That was brilliant.
I thought, you know what, you can't say he didn't do anything, because obviously he did that.
I didn't realise that was Yates. Who
did you think it was?
Anybody but Yates.
You're probably glazing Savona. That's probably why you're glazing Savona so much. He got an assist from Savona. But you know, like he did his things well. I just think, you know, when are we going to start using the squad? Because the other thing we'll touch on is a starting lineup. I did expect him to make changes on the wings, and he didn't. Again, he went with the same starting lineup. When are we going to start using our squad? Again, Hutchinson's not getting any minutes whatsoever. Guys have mentioned it in the chat. He's what does he have to do? Is it down to his attitude? Is he not impressing? Because that's 3 sets of managers now that he's not managing to get minutes with. So have a look at him. Have a look at McAtee as well. What's going on behind the scenes with those 2 players? I am concerned with Luis. Have we signed a player who's a bit of a crock at the moment? You know, is he going to meet the requirements for us to trigger his you know, so that's a concern, because I think if it is a hamstring injury, as we've seen with Ola Aina, it's going to be a few months before we see him back, and he didn't want to push it anymore. So that tells me he could be sidelined for a little while. I need to see Sangare in there. I think I agree with Ant. Sangare and Anderson do work well off each other. I still think in most games we should have a 3-man midfield. But let me go into the second half, because I thought we started it really, really well. And going back to what Ant was saying about result, I'll be honest, before the game, again, I lost the excitement. But I'll touch on this later, why I'm not at the games. But I wouldn't have been excited for that game. And if I'd been there, I probably would have left after the first half. It was that bad. But to be fair, the second half started really well, and we were the better team for the majority of it. It was just a shame the goal came, the equaliser came 10 minutes to go. I felt he could have made some substitutions earlier. I felt and Doi was lagging for quite a while. About the hour mark, he seemed to be blowing. And I don't think I think we've discussed him or touched on him on every single stream whilst he's been playing, but he hasn't got an end product. You know, he's got some legs and he does get up the wing, but I don't see him really being a threat for us. And we've got other players that aren't being used, so I don't understand why we're not playing our squad and not utilising the players. What is Daesh not seeing on the training field? So to go on from that, like I say, decent result really in the end. I would have taken a 2-2 draw. I would have taken us to score goals. I didn't expect us to keep a clean sheet. It's just the way it worked out. I felt we could have actually hung on for those 3 points, and seeing West Ham winning today, that drops us another place in the table. But I contest. I'm seeing positivity. It is another game where we haven't lost, you know, so it's something to build on. And I do think Daesh is getting his point across. I just want to see more players being used, because we've got a great squad. We've got a big bench, and he's not bringing his subs on. And I think he could have maybe changed the game a little bit if he'd brought the subs on earlier. But yeah, go on.
You're right, you know what, Ez? You're right. I mean, McAtee, I don't think was even in the squad, was he? Well, no,
he was.
I think he was on the bench yesterday.
He was on the bench.
I'm not doing very well.
He wasn't on the bench last game.
He what?
He wasn't for Bournemouth. He was for this.
Oh, right. Okay. No, my biggest, well, apart from Sangare not coming on for Yates, which again, it's personal preference. I was really surprised that Hutchinson didn't come on for Ndoye.
Yeah, that was an obvious one.
I just didn't get it. I thought 30. I know money doesn't guarantee quality. I know that. You've only got to look at Sesko for that. But 37 million, and the bits I've seen of him, I've liked. It's not like I mean, with all due respect to Bakwa, he's another player that I hope comes to the party and shows us what he's made of. But Bakwa's had chances and not impressed, whereas Hutchinson has had chances and I think has impressed. So I just don't. I don't get it. But who knows?
Yeah, it's quite frustrating, and we will talk about the keeper. I see a couple of you messaging on there, but let's start with a happy birthday to Carol, who's turned 21.
Oh yes,
big up Carol, one of our favorite, most beautiful mods.
Happy birthday, Carol.
Apart from obviously Catfish Mark, shout out to you, Carol. Hope you're enjoying your 21st, and big up to Jess with the £5. She goes, evening gents, the best 3. Interesting.
Oh, bless you.
Is it time to panic? P.S. Savona was brilliant yesterday. He was brilliant. He still looks awkward as a footballer, but he was brilliant. Yeah. Thank you, Jess.
He's not going to walk straight back in,
Big up to Chris with the £2. He goes, Yates inspires gaffers. They all pick him. I'll use the same argument I always use from all these gaffers that have picked him from. Was it O'Neill, the first one I think made his debut? Tell me which one has moved on to a bigger job.
You know what? That's like a psychic link, mate. Because I was going to say, those gaffers. You're talking about Nuno's a very defensive coach. You're talking about Postecoglou, who's insane, and then you're talking about Dyche, who's a very defensive coach. So maybe it's the coaches we should be looking at, and not the players. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're also talking about O'Neill, Lamouchi.
Yeah, defensive coach.
Yeah, Lamouchi, Houghton.
Mate. With all due respect.
Number one point is, which of these managers has then kicked on and shown
what I was going to say is they were in the Championship. I'm talking about Premier League managers.
Yeah.
So you got Cooper defensive. You see where I'm coming from, yeah? They're all defensive.
Here's what I don't get. If someone doesn't think a player is good, like loads of you in the chat have been saying Ndoye's crap. Why is it with Ryan Yates no one's allowed to think he's crap? Like, I don't understand. Like, if you don't think he's crap, cool. But why is it different to having an opinion on Taiwo being good or crap? I don't understand it.
Well, we know what you do understand.
Well, I know why. It's the whole academy thing and everything, right?
But listen, I've said many a times, it's not shit. Because I say the same about Zinchenko. It's not shit. I mean, Ryan Yates is not shit. He's a professional football player, which is something that none of us can even, Ez might still aspire to it a bit. I don't know. Now he's had his knee fixed, but
new knee, yes.
We will never get to anything remotely resembling that standard. So to play regularly in the Premier League, especially, you've got to be good. You're a good football player, which means that if you play that player in a Championship, he'll probably be a very good football player. So if none of these players are shit, but in my circumstance, my opinion, I happen to think that. As a football player, Sangare has more to offer than Yates. So, because you say one is better, doesn't mean saying the other one's shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Wolfie will, but...
but when I'm saying a player is crap, it's in context of the league we're in.
Yeah. In
do
our
you know what I'm saying? When I'm saying I think Ndoye is crap, he was very good in Serie A, but he's crap for Premier League so far.
And you know what you can say, you will say technically Sangare is better, but Yates is a better leader. Yates is a better captain. Yates is a better one to be speaking to the referee when something's going wrong, because he actually did really well yesterday. I saw his interactions. Obviously, Bruno was there for Man Utd, and he was arguing for our side, and he won most of his argument. To be fair, he was doing really well. So from that point of view, you're not going to get that from Sangare. What you will get from Sangare is positive play. And like Ant said, it's more how it affects a fan base. I think the majority of the fans would have been more not excited, but more positive with Sangare coming on than with Yatesy. That's all it was. It's how it affects the mindset of the fan base.
Yeah, but hold on. I never said he was crap yesterday. I think I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I praised him and gave him a decent score on the player rating.
You did. I think you probably give him like
crap. Players can still have good games. It's like every now and again, Ez will have a good grumpy old Reds. He's crap, but he'll have a good grumpy old Reds. Doesn't suddenly make him the world's best YouTuber overnight.
Well, right? I think he is.
All right, fine. And well, I would use Anderson. He's
never had a good game.
Right? But this is the point. I don't know why people find it so offensive. If I think a player is good or crap, that's my opinion.
Mate,
and opinion, opinion. You guys can have your own opinion.
It's the world we live in, mate. It's the wokey world we live in.
It's the world we live in. Big up to the official Kizu with the £5. He says, I was at the game, and when Yates came off for 30 seconds on an injury, he said to Lino, wasn't a corner. And the Lino said, I know. Did he really? So what, the Lino who actually flagged it? So by the way, I gotta call out Matt from Forest All Over, who was messaging at the time saying he was in line with the Lino and the Lino didn't flag, which I thought he did. So I was like, all right, well, Matt's right there behind the Lino. Apparently he did. So I'm assuming Matt didn't use his glasses yesterday at the game.
So this is the lino that was on the far side of the ground.
Yeah, the Cloughie end. It would have been.
And he flagged, so it would have been what?
70 yards Cloughie end. Yeah, Cloughie end.
It would have been 70 yards away.
Yeah, he's guessing, man. He's guessing.
That's what I said. I said he's guessed. Because you can't know. And if you're not certain, then you don't give it. You the advantage, not the advantage, but the benefit of the doubt always goes with the defense. Always has done. Same as a penalty and stuff. You know, it always has done. So why, if he wasn't 100% certain, which he needed to be, why did he give it? Anyway, look, we shouldn't spend too long on it because that's the second week running. Because that Williams that was never a corner against Bournemouth either.
No.
Right. So
okay. So well, let's do it. Let's do it. By the way, there's 500 in here, or just over 500, and we're sitting on 131 likes. So guys, let's take a quick second, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe as well if you're new. Now, Anne is quite woke, 3-star. It's this whole persona on the screen. It's a whole persona on the screen. I disagree with you, Brucey, and shout out to Brucey. It's 70, even 70-30s. Go for Man U, as in when they're the 30. They're just. The
thing is, in reality, it wasn't a 50-50. The ball was in.
No, so but it wasn't a 50-50. No, but it wasn't.
In that case, it was 100% biased towards Man United.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but it was a 50-50 guess, wasn't it, from him? It's either in or it's not, because he was guessing.
That's if they get the Wolfie. That's if they're guessing and not cheating.
Yeah, but come on, he's guessing, man.
It's Man U. It's Man U.
Yeah, exactly. And the audacity of the likes and Cass and everything. Damn, Al, you then got a corner where it came off in Doy in the second half. Yeah,
did you score from it?
That was my point. He was like, you should have scored from it. Nick tried it with me as well.
But generally, what did you think of our set pieces yesterday? Because I thought the delivery was a lot more consistent and a lot more, even from both sides. So even when it was the outswingers and the in-swingers from Anderson were a lot better. I thought we were a bit more of a threat yesterday.
I was very confident. Sorry, mate. I was very confident when Douglas Luiz went to take a corner. I know he only took one or two, but I think he took two. But when he went over it, I was dead confident. You know, that he'd put a good corner, and he did. But you're right. We were a lot better yesterday from
Anderson's were pretty good, especially his ones, obviously where they should be swinging out. He was getting them cutting in. They were causing a bit of consternation with it because they're just as bad as us defending set pieces. And Savona's goal, was that from a set piece? Was that from a corner? A second phase from a corner? What was that from?
I can't remember. And Doy had to go recover.
He shot with Yates' cross, so I can't help you.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I thought it was from a free kick or something. Yeah, but he was in there anyway. Because I'm just wondering, because he would have been forward for him to be that far forward. But I think we should touch on Savona's performance because he's come into a team come into a new league, new team, new setup, and I think he's handled himself really well. I can't remember him really making any mistakes. There's a couple of times maybe his pace he hasn't been able to keep up with a winger, but I haven't seen him really outdone and caused himself any issues. And going forward, he's been a threat. So I'm really impressed with him, and I hope
I really like him in the final third. I really like him in the final third.
He has that height, obviously. He has that height. He has that height to our set piece and so on as well, which is kind of why I think he kept Ndoye on for so long. And Ndoye is decent in the air, but yesterday he was just so knackered. But yeah, Savona, and you know, you started off saying.
Yeah, I mean, I know I take the piss out of foreign leagues, farmers league and all that, but some are a little more technically based than ours because they're less frantic, you know, they're slower. For example, Italy. So generally speaking, Italian players that are brought up, especially if you do Juventus academy or whatever, they've learned how to be technically gifted, and you can see he's very comfortable on the ball, and his little layoffs and stuff. He's very technically gifted. His crosses are sublime. And I've had no problem whatsoever. I think one time when he misjudged the ball in the air in one game. Can you remember that one?
Yes, yeah. That was very, It was very early in that game. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, very early, and that's the only mistake I can personally remember him making.
Against Arsenal. Against Arsenal.
Yeah, it was against Arsenal, was it?
The second goal, when Eze got behind him.
Yeah, and that's the only mistake I can make. So that's pretty damn good for a new young, and he's only young as well, by the way. So yeah, I think we've got ourselves a little bargain there, and I'm very excited.
In fact, I think there's one occasion. Sorry, go on.
Go on, mate.
I'll finish off, man.
No, I was just
saying there was one occasion where he could have got the ball in early. There was one occasion where he could have got the ball in early and he would have found Jesus free, but he took that extra touch and then he ended up losing the opportunity. But he does get the ball in. He does look up and cross, and I would like to see more of him. And he's in our Europa squad, isn't he? So he will be playing on Thursday as well. So
it makes you feel it, so you don't have to. You're not counting the hours down before Einer's back. Because you feel comfortable. Yeah. You see the team sheets, blah, blah, blah. That back four, you think, nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Whereas previously, Einer's been out and it's not been good for us.
Yeah, but
that shows you how well he's done. That shows you how well he's done.
Counting the hours down to when Zinchenko's back. But yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, Wolfie, I don't think he'd get in the side. Unless he could.
Unless he feels like he's one of those. He's one of those Yates style, every manager picks him players.
Yeah.
You know, one of those.
What did we think of Jesus' performance yesterday? He didn't get the goal. He kind of got the assist for Savona, and I think he actually hit the post. You know, on that cross from Hudson-Odoi that loop to the back post. I think he actually managed to hit the post with that shot, with that header. Sorry, I think he was a nuisance again. But I would, if this is a two-part question actually, because one thing I'd noticed yesterday, I feel like he's not playing. We're not seeing Dyche ball. I don't think we've seen Dyche ball since. I think he's showing a form of Nuno ball, and he's trying to keep the players as. And but I do want to see him play two up front. I genuinely do. As much as I will also touch on MG Dub, because I think that was one of his better games after his comments earlier on in the week. I think he actually did something on the pitch yesterday. But Jesus, I think he's making himself our number 9. But I would like to see him with Taiwo, because again, Taiwo came on, first touch.
How lean does Taiwo look? How lean does he look? You know when we're calling him Podgy before? Man, he's like a stick.
Yeah. His very first touch was a chest straight to Ndoye. Yeah. You know, and his hold up play, he causes a nuisance. I would like to see him and Jesus play up top together, you know. And
I hate to be the bad guy in all of this. Okay. But Taiwo coming on and looking good as a man, it's him scoring or assisting 0 goals. Jesus looking busy. I love Jesus. I think he was very busy yesterday, a nuisance and everything. He still hasn't scored in the Premier League. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to be the bad guy here.
No,
I'm just saying, I think, are we overglazing?
You've not heard my opinion yet before you become the bad guy.
Okay, I'm just saying, are we overglazing some of the, because we are crap at scoring goals. Let me remind you that we scored 7 goals 2 of them came yesterday. 3 of them came in the first game of the season, and there was 2 in between that.
Can I give my stat as well then?
Go on then.
Well, we've scored 7 goals, and in all for club and country, Erling Haaland scored 26.
But he scored more than most of every other striker put together.
26 though, and we've got 7 between us.
Yeah, I know, but he should have been playing at Forest like his dad did. But anyway, that's
he should have done. He's a traitor.
Yeah, following his steps. But no, I'm saying, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just saying sometimes I feel like the Savona argument. Like some people in the chat were saying, when Einar gets back, does Einar get back in the team? Like I sometimes feel there's a lot of recency bias on opinions that, oh, this guy is banging form, boom.
No, he's got competition though, hasn't he?
He's got. Yes, I think competition is a good way of phrasing it. I still think Einar's the better fullback, even though he.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you're not the drop in quality is not what it was before. So therefore, you don't panic so much when he's not there.
You know, I agree with that, but I've seen a couple of comments. I can't scroll back up in my hand, but it's just saying, does Einar get back in? And you know, maybe he doesn't. Like Savona, if he carries on like this, that is even stronger.
I don't think he should be straight, but I think he should have to work for his way back in. And it'll come. Yeah. And we've got to play. Don't forget,
if he was fully fit,
right now, I'd have him on the bench. Einar wasn't very good before he got injured for quite a while.
Agreed.
So I don't think he can walk straight back in when somebody's playing well in that position.
I smell a pole. What would you do, Ed?
I wondered what it was.
This should be fun, right? With one.
If I could briefly pop back to Jesus, as I say, you're saying now what you know damn well has been my position on Igor Jesus. I really like the guy. I think he's a real threat. Well, not a threat. He's a real pest. He's excellent in everything he does, but I need to see goals. And I've been saying that, haven't I? I've been saying that. We need to see goals.
You have been saying that, but
when he scored 2 goals in the Europa League, everybody was coming for me, and I said, Premier League.
But no, that's not the point I'm making. I think we're so starved of goals right now that if Taiwo is able to control the ball once, suddenly we think he's Messi. Right, that's
no, I don't think that's the case. But
at the moment, they're both similar to each other. They're both trouble causers without any end product at the moment.
Yeah. I just think I genuinely want to see them playing off each other, because I think, like I said, I've been impressed with the impact that he's had, the nuisance that he's caused. Yes, he's not scoring goals, but nobody is. But we're going from a performance last week against Bournemouth, which was appalling, to which yesterday where we can hold our heads up high, and we're seeing progress. So I don't want to be too negative, because we've been negative enough as it is, and I saw some positives yesterday. So I want to kind of touch on those, and to get competition is what we've been asking for anyway. So Savona making it hard for Einar to come back in is exactly what we want. You know, we don't want anybody strolling straight back into the team.
I'd actually go with them further. Do you know what I would
do? Go on.
I'd put Einar left back.
And what would you do with Nico?
And what would you do with Nico?
Right back, obviously.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant you having Savona in as right back and Einar
left back. No. I think Nico Williams has been the best right back this season so far.
Yeah, but he's also been the best left back. He's also been the best left back.
Sorry, mate. If you're, why do you want to put?
Because he's bored, isn't he? He's bored. He's clearly bored.
No, I'll tell you why. That's a very good question. Why, says Anne, and I'll tell you why. I think Nico Williams crosses the ball better with his right foot, and I think he over inverts to cross on the left-hand side.
Maybe.
Okay,
he's got Yatesy coming in down the side to do that, though, hasn't he?
All right, Yatesy aside, Ola Einar is more two-footed for me than Nico Williams. I've seen it. He banged that goal in against West Ham last season with his left foot. I think Einar, and don't forget, Einar started as a left back for us. He played the first pretty much whole season at left back. So
but I don't see what's wrong. From what I've seen of our team in its pomp when it's playing well, I don't see why you need to swap fullbacks. I think they're both doing fantastically in the positions they were doing in. So why?
Because you're saying Yeah, because you're saying Nico's our best right back, but he's also been our best left back this season. So why would you move him from there?
I agree. I think he's been slightly better at right back than at left back, with both being said in the positive.
But is Aina slightly better at right back than left back as well?
Yeah, but I think the net gain.
Because you know what? If you remember back, we had Aurier at right back and Aina at left back, didn't we? He was keeping.
Years ago,
yeah, no, but he was keeping.
Yeah, man, we had Lodi. Remember Lodi?
I know. But he was the one keeping Nico Williams out, wasn't he? Really?
No, Nico Williams was crap.
Really, Aina. What are you saying? Sorry.
Nico Williams was crap then. After that Blackpool game, I wanted him sold.
Yeah, but he wasn't the only one crap in that Blackpool game.
Correct.
That was atrocious. Can you remember how bad?
Wolfie definitely went in hard on Nico after that.
It was one of the worst performances I've seen. To see where he's come on from there is unreal. It really is.
It was Lemmy's worst game as well. O'Brien, it was his worst game, and I think that was his last game.
They were all crap. You're right. They were all.
I'm actually a bit worried about Nico, because he goes under the radar a lot, but I'm sure other big clubs must be looking at him thinking, I tell you what, left back. Look at Liverpool. Look at Liverpool. They've got Robertson drawing his pension, and then they've got Kirkes that they paid a fortune for. He's not done very well. So are they going to think, hey, why don't we get Nico back? And I think if there's one place Nico would probably go back, it's there.
I think I need to start calling Nico Williams crap, to be honest, because even Cass bigged him up yesterday, and then I was on the United stand yesterday and I bigged up Nico Williams, and I'm now thinking they were taking notes, man. They were like, right, Anderson, 100 million.
Oh yeah, Anderson. Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying about watching the game.
Maybe I should tell them how good Ndoye is.
We've actually got better players.
Ndoye and Gibbs White, those are the ones they should go after.
You know, this is a concern. This is a concern that we're so poor this season, and we may just survive wherever we finish. And say, but there's a shopping list being written with some of our players and some of our key players that we really can't replace. But you know what? Life moves on, doesn't it? And I think if we don't get ourselves into a comfortable position and get ourselves maybe further in the European competition this season, then it might be a reality next season that we'll lose not one or two players, but several. But there are some fantastic players. I want to keep him under the radar as well, but I think his progression has been brilliant, and his mentality.
The only thing I've got,
go on.
The only thing I'll say is the only thing that gives me a little tiny bit of hope that it won't just become a fire-sale bloody selling club is Mr. Marinakis. If he says no,
I agree,
then
no,
I
think we'll sell one, and I think
that's fine. We accept that,
and I think it will be Anderson. I think, and I want to touch on Anderson now in just a second. But before I do, we're on 193 likes. 7 more could hit the like. It'd be much appreciated. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you're new. Big up to Wazza with the 22 months. Look at that artistic picture he's done, black and white, and then he's pulled out the red. Love it, bro. Good to see you. Thank you for the 22 months. Big up to Fitz Nutrition with the 4.99. He goes, your thoughts on Elliot Anderson? Perfect segue. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me do Chris's super chat and I'll come back to that because that's where we're moving to. Big up to Chris with the £2. He goes, tell us one clear chance Jesus.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Sure.
You'll see a lot of goal scorers, a lot of Alan Shearer type goal scorers. They score a lot of goals because they get themselves into the right position. You've got to be in the right position to receive this pass that's going to give you the chance. Now, I'm not saying that Jesus is not doing that, but he's not a natural goal scorer. I've told you that. What I'm saying is there's a possibility that he's not getting himself into an open position where he can be given the ball to score. Okay, I'm just saying.
Deep.
Yeah, it's coming too deep. Yeah. Someone like Shearer, Shearer would score goals and Sheringham, players like that. Well, all the top strikers, they will put themselves into a position where if they get the ball, they'll get a chance.
Sheringham was a 10. I'd say Sheringham's position.
But have you seen his goal scoring record?
Yeah, I know. No, but forget the goal scoring record. Here's what I'm saying on Jesus. I would like to see Callum Mwendo or a Chris Wood in front of him and him playing the Morgan Gibbs White role, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. I'll be happy with that.
I just think, especially if Dyche is going to go 4-4-1-1, I would say go Jesus. Callum Mwendo
this is what I'm saying. No, it should be Taiwo and Jesus or Wood and Jesus.
Don't forget Taiwo, man. When was Taiwo's last goal? when freaking Ward Prowse.
If you let him play, he'll score. If you let, you'll cause chaos. He will
he's not a
score
lot of game time.
No, Ed, you've gone too far here, bro. You
You're
were the one in the summer glazing Callum Owendo as well, and now you've just written him off.
So who's if in this 4-4-1-1, Jesus is in the 10th position. Who's ahead of him?
Callum Owendo.
Doesn't work, man.
Or Chris
What
Wood.
have you seen from Callum
Why
Owendo?
would Taiwo work?
Because he's a big man, little man. Play the ball up to him. We played the ball up to Taiwo several times yesterday, and it stuck. Or he won the header. Even Jesus is fantastic.
Did we score?
He won several. Oh, he's got no one with him. Put two people together. Don't wind me up, bro. Crypto's not here. Why are you doing it?
I'm just saying.
Play two strikers. Play
Chris,
two strikers.
why do your super chats
always
always cause arguments?
Play a dash
your
for
super chats always cause arguments, Chris. Love you though. Thank you.
It's quite funny because I try to explain.
It's Chris. It's Chris. Not even Crypto. It's Chris.
I try to explain from a technical sort of looking at it in that respect how football is and that. Ed just comes out with Taiwo. Yes, Taiwo.
No, but this is the thing. Ed was going down the right path. Because he has said before, drop Jesus into like a 10 and SS position, and then he whips out Taiwo, man.
Yeah, but how you listen? Taiwo won header yesterday. He controlled the ball. He brought players in. Play somebody with him, man. And when it bounces off him, have somebody next to him who can shoot. Not
That's what it is. Right? That's it. Get a goal scorer who can only score tap-ins. Have him permanently a yard from Taiwo. So every time the ball bounces off his shin, he can pick it up.
Exactly. Honestly.
We go back to answer. We should play 12 men on the pitch theory. I think loads of people written off Callum Owendo. He is a goal scorer. I don't know why they're using him as freaking wingers. Dyche has used him as a winger, and so has Ange. It's weird.
He's got no height, bro. He's shorter than me.
No, I want to see him in the number 9, mate. 100%.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, with a Taiwo.
All right, so wait, hold on. I'm going to do another poll. By the way, 65% of you would chuck Einar straight back in. 35% of you would put Savona back in.
That's perfectly reasonable, yeah.
But
you could tell Robert and Crypto on here, can't you?
Yeah, but who would you? Let's just say, just for argument's sake, just say Gibbs White got dropped. By the way, I thought he was all right yesterday, right? So it's not a Gibbs White discussion. I'm just saying, hypothetically, Gibbs White isn't available, and you've put Jesus in that pocket. Who are you putting in front of him, assuming all strikers are fit? So you got Chris Wood, Callum Owendo, and Taiwo. As you go first, and then
I'm still saying Taiwo. I'm still saying Taiwo. Based on what I've seen from him this season, I think he's a threat. I'm going to say Taiwo. I think Taiwo can still come good. Listen, I said it last stream. He's playing for his career. He wasn't in our squad. He wasn't in our 25-man squad because of Einar. He only got in because of Einar's injury, okay? So he's playing for everything. And I think I've seen a real positivity from him. He looks leaner, he looks fitter, he looks faster, and he looks like he can be a threat again. Give him a chance, but put somebody with him who can actually finish and feed off his balls. You know, he was winning headers yesterday. He was holding up the ball. He was chesting it off. Give him somebody to give that ball to, because at the moment he's got nobody who can really finish next to him.
I'm going to have to call you out, man. Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you why I'm going to call you out. Because you said at the start of the season, you guarantee that Callum Owendo his form and performances would put him ahead of that number 9 of Chris Wood, Jesus, and you're my witness. I'm sure you probably remember the chat.
My words. Not straw manning me, man. I said
I'm not straw man. Did you not say that?
Okay, let me tell you what I said then. I said if he's good enough and he gets in, he will be hard to shift. If he gets in and he does what I expect him to do, he'll be hard to move. That's what I said. I didn't say he's good enough to start. That's not what I said. That's a straw man, bro.
Can I go then?
Up front,
I don't think there's a question, really, is there? I mean, I think it's very, very, very obvious what the answer to this question is. I mean, I've like Kez, I've been really impressed with Taiwo. He looks lean, he looks hungry, but there's only one goal scorer at our club. There's only one goal scorer at our club. I want someone that can score goals, and we have one. And I tell you what, with Jesus behind him, putting him through little taps through, he gets a chance, he will score.
Chris Wood. Chris Wood.
Well, Chris Wood, obviously. Oh,
yeah.
Well, who else have we got that can score goals?
Callum Owendo.
No, in the Premier League, mate. Sorry, in the Premier League. That's now, Wolfie. Don't do that YouTube thing or that particularly that X thing. Say, well, so you think Calamando's shit, then do you? No, I don't. And I'm very excited.
I didn't even say a word.
Yeah, I know, but I could see it. You almost went for it. You thought you were on never a foul for a second. You almost went for it.
Nothing. I've said nothing. I'm trying to figure out how to click these.
I am excited to see Calamuendo. I have great hopes for him, and I do believe he will become a good goal scorer for us. But right now, we only have one guarantee, and that's Chris Wood.
Would you put him ahead of Taiwo?
The open goal against Burnley.
Yes, I would put him above Taiwo. Yes, I know that's shocking.
Okay, well, somebody has to fight for Taiwo. So let's just answer the Wood.
Saying in the summer we should sell him as.
No, I didn't say that. I said if we find. I said we do need to replace him. We do need another striker. If we can't find somebody better,
we don't need to sell him, but we do need to replace him.
You know what? I don't know if Andy's still in the chat, but he would be petty enough to go back and find the.
He'd probably check.
Oh, actually, Ben will.
Ben definitely would. So Ant's in the Wood camp. I'm in the Taiwo camp. I'm assuming then, Wolfie, you're in the Calamuendo camp.
I'm in the Wood/Calamuendo camp.
Okay, we'll fight for Calamuendo. We've heard Wood argue.
Okay, so Calamuendo has been written off because he's played 3 games for us, and he had an absolute stinker against. Was it Swansea?
Who's he been written off by?
These lot in the chat, man.
Them lot.
Them lot.
What do you expect with them lot?
Them lot. I'm telling you, Calamuendo's a goal scorer. Just like Backward, I'm sure some people have written him off. Probably.
I don't know. It's pretty close in the poll, between him and Wood. 41, 43. So they are.
And what's Taiwo on? After you voted for him?
It doesn't matter if they don't like me anyway.
Guys, you've got to be honest. 42% means 42% just want to see a new toy. Let's be absolute.
No. 42% voted for Wood, mate. It's not a new toy.
Not on mine. It's
okay, you might want to. Well, at the moment, 44% would go Wood, 40 would go Calamuendo.
Yeah, mine just changed as well.
Plus 16 other percent have gone Taiwo.
That's pretty good for Taiwo.
That's pretty good for me, mate. That's pretty good for me.
Yeah, 1 in 5 nearly. That's not bad, mate.
Yeah. Is Jesus injured? No, he's not injured. He'll be suspended.
I'll always be the lone voice. I don't care. I'll always.
Right. We need to get back to this whole Elliot Anderson thing. Before I do, big up to Curtis with the $2. He goes, "Why is the panel getting smaller and smaller?"
You can't see what's happening under the desk, can you?
Yeah, you know what, man? Politics happen behind the scenes. Fallouts happen behind the scenes. Certain YouTube stars won't work with certain other YouTube stars, and then you got Ben.
Or they could be on a holiday. It's one of them two. It's one of them.
Or some people read the comments and it goes to their heads and they need to lie down for a week or so and they need to go away. So maybe that's what it is as well.
Yeah, the holiday one, that doesn't make it exciting. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's infighting going on. Big up to Nikki with the 199. He goes, "Why aren't I
Nikki? We'll send you the link then, mate.
Go on then, Nikki. You want to jump on, Nick?
Anytime, Nikki. I've told you a million times to come on.
Wait, no, Nikki, how sober are you?
Boy, we like a laugh.
How sober are you? But yeah, Nikki, you jump on, you can. Let's get back to this from Fitz Nutrition. And boy, is he the nutrition. Look at those guns. Look at those guns. He goes,
I know. I was going to have a go at him, but then I saw the pictures. So I'm going to be a bit more respectful.
He goes, "Your thoughts on Elliot Anderson? His agent's talking to Man Utd about January window, a price tag of 100 to 120 million. Okay, so I'll tell you this much. Okay, Elliot Anderson is not talking to anyone. Full stop. Now, am I saying he's staying at Forest forever? No. Elliot Anderson is one of the nicest footballers / people ever.
Yeah.
Elliot Anderson left his boyhood club without any fuss or muss from joining Newcastle, where, let's be real, he didn't want to leave. Not in a negative way, but he was quite happy at Newcastle, but they had to do the whole PSR party thing. Did he join Forest with arrogance? No. Did he get his head down and start playing? Yes. Elliot Anderson isn't going to backhand Forest to go and join a crapper club like Manchester United. Secondly, if Elliot Anderson leaves, I will tell you for sure that it will be because Forest have said they've accepted an offer, not because he's asked to leave. That's how Elliot Anderson is. And if Forest accept an offer for Elliot Anderson, he will leave with no fuss and he'll perform fantastically wherever he goes. And it won't be United. There'll be better clubs that are in for him. So that's what I'll say on it. I've got nothing but good things to say about him. He's an absolute top bloke and a fantastic footballer. And he was brilliant yesterday. He bossed the first 50. Well, while Douglas Luiz was on there, I don't know if you felt the same from the ground, Ant, but Elliot Anderson was in complete control of that midfield. Complete control of that midfield.
Every time he went to take a corner, the fans were seeing Jordi Maradona and stuff. He's lovely. I think he feels, Newcastle's his hometown club. He loves them. We know that. And that would be the same for any of us from Nottingham. Well, from Forest supporters. Sorry, Wolfie.
Edinburgh,
yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I meant to say. But I think he strikes me as the kind. Now, we could all be fooled, but he doesn't come across as that kind. He strikes me as the kind of guy that really appreciates the fact that the Forest fans have taken to him and given him love. Now, don't misunderstand me. He will leave us at some point. And he could go to Manchester United because they are still, despite everything, they are still a massively attractive club for people to go to. The money helps as well. So he could go to Manchester United. But if he's in talks with Manchester United right now, and they spend a lot of time in negotiations, and they actually come to an agreement that, yes, he'd go there and he'd go for the wages they offer him, it's all pretty worthless, isn't it? If they go to Mr. Marinakis and say 60 million, he's going to tell him to, he's going to tell him to go away. Because, that's the way it is. It doesn't matter who's talking to Elliot Anderson, if anybody's talking to Elliot Anderson. It really doesn't matter, because I don't think the guy's the kind of guy to down to. In fact, I'm as certain as you can be with another human being. I'm sure that he's not the kind of guy to down tools and throw a strop, etc., which, as Wolfie pointed out, he didn't do at Newcastle, which he could have done easily. So I don't think he's the kind to do that. So he might say to another club, we don't know, because it's football, none of us know. He might say to another club, yeah, on that salary, I will agree to join you, providing Forest accept the bid. And if the bid's not right, he won't be sold. We've seen that. Let
me make this plain and simple as well. Okay, and I've said this on videos where these links, we've discussed them on the daily videos. Here's the bottom line. Elliot Anderson will be in the England squad for the World Cup. Elliot Anderson will more than likely partner someone like Declan Rice in a double pivot in the England team. Maybe not in every game, but he will. England could win the World Cup. If Elliot Anderson has any part to play in England winning the World Cup or going deep,
oh my God,
his price post-World Cup will be 10 to 20% more than pre-World Cup. Forest will not look to sell Elliot Anderson before the World Cup for financial reasons.
It wouldn't make sense.
It just wouldn't make sense. And if they did, I would call it out, because it's clear he's going to the World Cup.
That was exactly what I was going to say on that. Yeah, exactly what I was going to say when you came to me. And Freestyle Reds has said it very well in the chat. Elliot Anderson, 100 million fees being talked of if he goes in January. But you keep until the World Cup, and I'm confident that he will be certainly part of the squad, and he'll probably be a number one starter, and probably one of the first names on the team sheet, judging by the way the manager's been treating him. Tuchel loves him, 100%. And
he rubs his hair and he pats him on the head and also.
I saw a comment on that, and I do actually agree, because I am speaking from experience on this. He shows a lot of tendencies for somebody with autism, because they don't like their heads being touched. If you notice, when he puts a cap on, when he does this speech, his head's down, he gets it over with quickly. He's a really nice lad. I think his heart's always going to be in the right place. I agree with that. He's not going to be one to do he's not going to do something like what's his name at Newcastle did, going on strike or anything like that. We wouldn't see something like that. But he 100% for me will be our first £100 million plus sale. And yeah, give him the World Cup and see his value after that World Cup, because either way, he's never going to let you down. Whether England win it or not, you're going to get a performance out of Elliot Anderson in that World Cup team, in that World Cup, putting on the shirt for England in the World Cup. You'll see the best of him. He's so good, and he never gives up. The only time I've seen him is basically when he runs out of steam, when he's done too much, but he never gives up. He's not one of those, and he makes a mistake. He's the first one to get the ball back. And how often when he loses the ball, does he get it back straight away? So players like him are very rare. And we'll be for as long as we do have him. Forest fans have been blessed to see him. We were touching on it the other day, but we managed to see John Terry when he was a young player. We saw him at Forest. Those kind of things. Yeah. And Anderson will be a generational player, and I think we're just lucky enough to be seeing him. And wherever he goes from here, we got to say Forest have really given him the kick start that he needed, and he's been trusted. He's played, and he's not let us down. Like I say, it's only when we've overpaid him and he's not tired. Go on.
Because of that is, I think that's a good point. Forrest have built his career, basically. He was going nowhere at Newcastle at the time. And I think that's going to give him a little bit of love in his heart for the club. I think he'll always have that. Do you know what I mean? Because players do, don't they? The club that's given them the chance to make it into the big time. And it could take him from a very, very infrequently used substitute at Newcastle United to possibly playing in the World Cup for England. So he's going to have a love for us.
Yeah, and also giving him the position that he looks to be ending up in for England, because when he first came in, I think his very first game he was out on the left. Then we put him to the right, and eventually Nuno brought him more central, and that's where he kicked on. But this season we've seen him more as a CDM and a more defensive player. But he can play everywhere. For me, he's one of the most complete midfielders I've seen at Forest. I've said before, he reminds me a lot of Gerrard. Just hasn't got the finishing and that final. But if you add that to it, bloody hell, you got one hell of a player, haven't you? So yeah, I think let's just enjoy him while we've got him. Definitely.
Yeah, that's just a really good point, Ed. Because I remember the last season of Stan Collymore. It was quite obvious he'd be going at the end of the season, and I'd say to him, mate, virtually every away game, I say to him, just enjoy it. We know he's going to be gone, but just enjoy watching him now. And that's how I feel a little bit like Elliot Anderson. Level, no, I didn't. Did I say that? There's nobody on the planet that's ever been on that level. So, let's keep it fair. I'm just saying the feeling of a player's going to go instead of moaning.
You didn't feel that way about Sean Dyche when he was playing.
Imagine we were selling Stan Collymore now, man. It'd be 150 million, 150 million. 100 times what he was sold.
Don't reopen the childhood wounds, man. Okay. We do have to talk about something negative, unfortunately.
Hooray!
Yeah, we're still 500 of you in here, 231 likes. Please, this isn't the negative, by the way. Please hit the like button.
That is the negative.
Please subscribe. Can anyone guess what the next topic is in the chat? Can you guess that?
No. Our next game?
No, we need to talk about something negative.
Oh, Douglas Luiz been injured.
No, that's heartbreaking. I wouldn't say it's negative. Not corners. Relegation. My God, you lot are set pieces. Joker's got it. Matt sells.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm starting to sway towards he needs to be dropped.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. Why. My biggest issue with Sells is, there's two issues I have with Sells. Firstly, he was phenomenal last season. He was unbelievable last season. The biggest issue for me with Sells currently is two things. He does not come off his freaking line, man. If he was to come out 4 or 5 yards, half these corners wouldn't be scored. Because I think he would dominate it. Also, his contact when he does get the ball is poor. I'm not talking about the Bournemouth one where he puts in there. He slices a lot of his punches when he goes. He doesn't get distance on them.
He's good with his feet, though, isn't he?
What?
He's good with his feet.
I don't think he's.
I think he's excellent with his feet.
He kicks it long. My other thing is when he's saving sometimes when he goes down to save a ball, especially to the bottom right side, he's really slow to get down. Like the Bruno shot yesterday that hit the post. To me, it felt like he was going down in slow motion.
Can I just come back? I know you want to go on about him, but just that quickly. I watched it today because obviously I was at the game, and I'm a long way away, so I watched it today. And I tell you what, my first thought was, if that had been on target, he'd have got his fingertips to it. That's how good he is.
I
think he had it covered. I do agree. I think
if it had been on target, because his fingers, it went past his fingers by about 2 inches and hit the post. If that had been that way to go in, he'd have saved that.
So if it went by his finger by 1 inch, then it would have gone in because it would have hit more of the inside of the post.
No, because it was 2 inches on the post. It needed to go in 2 inches to go in.
It came off the inside of the post, bro. Another inch more on the inside of the post to deflect into the net. But anyway,
the post is more than an inch wide.
No, you missed.
Carry on, anyway, my friend.
My point is,
I think our number one goalkeeper, Golden Glove winner. Carry on.
Yeah, my point. I'm just having the discussion here, bro. I'm just now thinking. It feels like our biggest weakness is from set pieces, in particular corners. We need a keeper who's not static on the line. All right. If you don't want to argue the whole slow to go down and what have you, fine. I think maybe it's time in this Europa League match to get a better look at John Victor against Stengrat's team, who are crap, basically.
Absolutely not.
Who wants to rebut?
You couldn't hear that, could you? I thought that was off mic.
No, Ant wants to rebut it because he said absolute crap.
I'm doing a poll.
Absolutely not. Anybody that wants this untested Brazilian knobhead coming in to play in a Europa League, which I still believe we can win, so we need to win against Stengrat's.
Yes.
Is losing their marbles. There's no way you drop the Golden Glove winning goalkeeper from your side for an untested, untried Brazilian goalkeeper. We've had one of them before. Disaster, mate. Disaster.
Wait, so just because someone's Brazilian, they mean
I've not been impressed with. Right? Now, let me explain to you how goalkeepers work. There are 2 types of goalkeepers. Absolutely. If you get the 3rd type, which is called a unicorn, you're very lucky because not many of them do that. So the unicorn is a goalkeeper that stays on his line sometimes, comes off his line. So comes off his line sometimes and gets it right every time. That's a unicorn. You don't see many of them about. So the other 2 kind of goalkeepers are those that stay on the line and rely on their fucking... Oh, damn, I was doing so well. I was doing so well. Who rely on their 6'2", 6'4" defenders to get their head onto the ball, right? Or you have idiots that come out and flap about all over the place trying to get to the ball and they can't get to it because there's too many players in front of them. Sells as the one Golden Glove winner that stays on his line and relies on his central defenders to get rid of the ball if it's 7 yards out, which they should be doing, by the way. Okay? They should be. If it's 6-7 yards out, your defenders should be the one getting to the ball from corners. Absolutely. That's what they're there for. That's what they paid for. However, this season, our defense has been shockingly bad. Shockingly bad. So therefore, what's been happening? The ball's been coming in and you get 5'6" idiots like Casemiro beating 6'2" Mikalenkovic, 6'1" Murillo, and the rest of them. At 5'6", he comes in and heads the ball in. And you blame Sells? Come on. That's my argument for keeping Sells in the team.
You know what? I think Sells should have saved the second shot as well. How about that?
I can't comment on that because I'm not a goalkeeper.
I think it was unsighted. I think you've been reactionary.
He has been reactionary.
In fact, I think it should have been disallowed because I think it was that the ball actually comes over their attacker. So therefore, it should have been disallowed because that attacker. Oh, he wasn't offside there, was he? If he had been offside,
no, I think they thought it might have hit his hand, and if it did touch his hand,
he was in line in Sells' line vision, which would make him offside.
No, I think that was that.
You have seen one. His name was Peter Shilton.
Anyway, but I'm going to actually, yeah, I think the reactionary comment was to you, Wolfie. I think you're being reactionary.
Me?
Because yes, you're being reactionary, mate. Because I back up what Ant said. The defense in front of Sales has been appalling this season. Nowhere near last season. He didn't come off his line last year. He still kept 13 clean sheets.
Correct.
His as I mentioned last week, it's his frailties that are being exposed. His frailties that have always been there, by the way. They're just being exposed because he's had a mishmash of a defense in front of him. He's had a mishmash of a formation. One manager wants to play on the halfway line. The other managers want to play deep. Milenkovic has looked ordinary, as somebody commented earlier today. If Milenkovic is looking ordinary, then your goalkeeper is going to look ordinary as well. So I'm not blaming Sales for everything. I think he's what's good about him is good about him. What his frailties are, which weren't exposed last season because he had a fantastic defense and a steady defense in front of him, which he hasn't had this year, is what's wrong. Changing a goalkeeper is not going to change that. That's going to cause more unrest in the back line because now they're dealing with a goalkeeper. We don't know if he's going to come on. At least we know with Sales, he's not coming. He's not coming. Now you're going to put in another goalkeeper where the defenders are thinking, is he going to come? Is he not going to come? No need for it. And I wouldn't be experimenting in Europe either. If we had a League Cup game, maybe I'd experiment, or even an FA Cup game. Couldn't give a damn about either of those competitions this season, but certainly not in Europe and certainly not in the league. So no, not for me. Improve your defense. Give them some solidarity. Keep Savona in. Get them working together. Get them working as a unit. Every single practice that we do, and they should be working as a unit and working on set pieces and knowing where they are and making sure that they're helping each other out. But changing a goalkeeper is not going to improve that situation.
Do I not get the right to reply?
Hang on.
I guess not.
I recall a goalkeeper that I think in 3 seasons got relegated and let in bundles and bundles and bundles of goals. He went to a team with a better defense and qualified for Champions League, but it's the same goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
However, the 3 previous clubs he got relegated with had very poor defenses. Bournemouth, Sheffield United, and who else was it? He got relegated 3 times. And Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
But at Arsenal, they get to the Champions League, but it's the same goalkeeper.
How has this turned to an
so if your defense is playing fabulously well like last season, your goalkeeper will let in a lot less goals than playing in front of these jerk-offs that we're playing in front of this season.
Absolutely.
Okay, look. Here's what I'm going to say to you. If I was to go back through all the player ratings last season and check how many times these lot in the chat gave Sales man of the match, what percentage do you lot think it would be, roughly speaking?
Very low, I would have thought.
No, I would have said about... It would have been between him and Nico for most of the games. Him, Nico, and Murillo, I think, last season. Or maybe Wood. I would say he got a third.
Yeah, we were good last season. There were a lot of competition last season.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say maybe a third of the games he got man of the match for.
I would agree. It would be about a third, 20 to 30% of the time. Sales was getting man of the match.
Mm-hmm.
Why would your keeper be getting man of the match when your defense was as rock solid as we claimed it was?
Because the saves he were making were from open play. He wasn't coming out and punching the ball from corners.
Yeah.
Okay.
And usually it was the one.
He's not even making those now.
No, he's not.
As consistently as last season.
What?
He's not making those open play saves as consistently as he was last season.
But
I'd have
it's
to
not.
see, I'd have to see evidence of that.
Okay, let me give you one. Last week against Bournemouth, the second goal. Do you think Sales last season saves that?
It's no good talking to me about last week. It's got to be more recent than that.
That's true. I forgot as well what happened last week.
Is that guy called? The one where Douglas Luiz and Anderson ran into each other, and that guy, Crappy or whatever he's called, hit it from 25 yards out.
Last season. How could I possibly know if he'd have saved it last season?
No, Wolfie, I think...
I'm talking about form, obviously. Now you're just being obtuse, man. I'm talking about form.
Yeah, but okay, Wolfie, let's say if he did save it, we still would have lost 1-0. Or we would have scored it in another way. So it makes no difference.
Okay. You say that, Ez. You say that. Do you think Sales of last season parries it into his own net for the first goal?
The question is, can you guarantee John Victor wouldn't?
No, but the defense of last season doesn't.
You lot are absolutely downplaying John Victor based on one performance against Swansea, where I'm telling you, John Victor is a good goalkeeper. I'm not saying. Hold on. Wait. I'm not saying he's Sells level good. I'm not saying last season Sells level. But let me ask you this: if Sells was a winger, huh?
Wait a minute. I can recall yesterday Sells making 2 brilliant saves.
You can't remember anything post the start of this stream, mate. What are you talking about?
I can. I can't describe them to you because I can't remember them, but I remember saying, brother, wow. Except with Swedish words in it.
Anyway.
So he did. He made 1 or 2 excellent saves yesterday.
Okay, but he's making good saves and mistakes is my point. Here's my point. No. If Sells was an outfield player, would you agree? All right, would you agree he's out of form?
No.
The whole team's out of form, bro. The whole team is out of form. If you're talking about the form from this season compared to last season, at height, yes, he's out of form. They're all out of form. Nobody's hit that form.
I go back to the same point, though, Ed. Last season, we've let in 5 goals from corners this season. Last season, we wouldn't have done that, and that's not because of Sells.
So Sells is that good that he's conceded the 2nd most goals in the Premier League as a goalkeeper.
All right. As I say, Aaron Ramsdale scored the most goals for 3 seasons running, and he went to Arsenal and hardly let a goal in.
And he can't get ahead of Nick Pope.
No,
why is it? Hold on.
That shows then, doesn't it? That proves my point.
Okay, let me ask you this. What if John Victor
find something to have an argument about?
Well, hold on. What if John Victor is the greatest goalkeeper of all time?
When I would have seen signs against Swansea, but that Swansea third
goal,
mate.
You're basing it on one game. Go and watch his games. Go and watch his games. Just even go and watch his games in the Club World Cup.
Oh, listen, I don't want to know about this shite Club World Cup or Brazilian Farmers League. It doesn't matter to me, man. For me, I'm sorry. I don't know what you saw.
It's definitely a Farmers League.
Exactly. That Swansea game, I'm sorry. I was appalled by his performance because we were well in control and he could have saved those last 2 efforts. So I'm sorry. I blame him for the goals that were conceded. And I think Sells, if you want to play that hypothetical game, I think if Sells was in the goal that day, we wouldn't have conceded those last 2 goals. So if you want to play it that way.
And don't forget, on top of that, don't forget how he's glazing up the other Brazilian idiot we had in goal last year.
And also, I think somebody's already answered it in the chat. But yeah, Angus Gunn looks like he's out for the season. So all I remember
I'd preferred Angus Gunn as our backup, if I'm honest.
Based on what evidence?
Based on his goalkeeping ability.
When have you seen Angus Gunn play? How many championship matches were you watching last season, then?
You're such a liar, man.
I could say 12, 20, 49.
49.
Who plays 49 games?
Oh, how many did they play? 46.
46 minutes.
Anyway, all right, we'll move on. The chat agrees with me. Well, 38% are 100% right in the poll.
The chat agrees with me. He got 38%.
I haven't had a chance to make my argument, man. I'm just saying. By the way, hold on. You're missing my point. I am not saying that John Victor is better than Sells. I am saying Sells is out of form. If Sells was a right winger playing out of form, you both would be sitting here saying, drop him. What's the point in it? All right, why do we have other goalkeepers? Just in case he gets injured. Is that it?
But Wolfie, listen, I don't think he's out of form personally, but I would be happy to see John Victor get a game against Sturm Graz, providing he doesn't let any goals in.
How are you going to know if he lets goals in without playing him?
Yeah.
That's why it's tricky.
That would be like me saying, I'm happy for Sells to continue in goal at Forest as long as he doesn't concede another goal in the next 5 games.
Let me put it another way then. I wouldn't risk him, but I'd like to see him. Does that make sense?
I just want to know from.
I'd like to see him.
I just want to know from Wolfie. I mean, why you would gamble with Europa League game? Are you giving up on Europe? Is that your stance?
No.
Well, I don't know what. I'm sorry. I don't
remember
know
when I had the same argument with Rob last season when he wanted to put that Pratt in. What was his name?
Yeah.
Miguel. He wanted to put him just to try him out. And I said, you can't do that.
Okay, so when do you try these players out? That's what I don't get.
Not until you need them, or until you can put them in a game that's pretty irrelevant. Like if you qualify already for the next stage of the Europa Cup, you can afford to try somebody out. League Cup, I might try somebody out.
Yeah,
but not
even FA Cup, I might this season.
Yeah,
but just to go back on Anderson.
You imagine if he did put him in against Sturm Graz, and I'm not saying he would do this, right? Absolutely, but he could have an off day and fumble a couple in. Then what would you feel?
Okay, then you've had that scenario. But can you imagine the opposite scenario where he whips 5 saves out of his ass?
I accept that. I accept that, but it's a gamble, isn't it? Because you don't know.
Do you know how bad Sturm Graz are? Do you know how bad they are?
And why is he having to make 5 saves? What does that say?
I tell you what, I know how bad West Ham were when they smashed his 3-0 at the City Ground.
They want to do.
And this is the other point, though. So you're saying if he let's say hypothetically, he goes with you, he makes a change, puts him in midweek. If he has a good game, if he has a good game, are you then saying that you bring him in for the league game? Do you drop Sells altogether after one good game from your new goalkeeper, your new shiny toy? Are you saying you drop your 13 goal clean
not
sheet
necessarily.
So what's the point then?
Okay, but is it a stretch to say that maybe Sells is mentally fatigued? Sells has probably played the most games of anyone in this squad.
Didn't he have 3 months off in the summer?
No, mate. They train every day in the summer, don't they? They're so committed.
Yeah, the training's not exactly mentally taxing, is it?
No,
I can tell by his face he's just trying to create drama.
Goalkeepers don't have that.
Just on this, David. No Forest player is crap. Stop saying it. It makes your opinion less viable. Okay, so I assume Forest is top of the league and won every game.
No, he is right.
I kind of get what he's saying. Yeah, we're not calling him crap.
You've just called John Bix a crap.
Where?
Yeah, but no, I said his performance was crap. I didn't call him crap.
I'll still go with semantics, man. Still going with semantics.
But yeah, just want to
crap players. At the end of the day, in a good argument, semantics wins out every time.
Absolutely. I'll just go back on touch on the point with what he said about Angus Gunn, because that's the only comment I've heard from Dash. He said it was ligament damage, so that tells me it's probably similar to what I've had. It's probably an ACL, and he'll be out for the season. So.
He gets it.
I love how everyone has the same injury as Ed, isn't it? It's like,
it is ligament damage is an ACL.
There's only ligaments in your knees. There's no other part of your body that has ligaments. Yeah, it's like
Let me just get my excuses out there, because actually
it's sprained his wrist, but that's connected. If you go through it, it's connected down to your knee. You know.
Yeah, eventually everything needs like my broken bone in my wrist. Yeah, that's the same injury Ez has got.
Listen, Ez knows exactly how you feel.
We can link
that
it.
his need on.
Yeah, we can link it.
All right, have we missed anything?
He's doing very well, actually. He's doing very well. He's recovering very well.
Well, I mean, I do want to actually. I don't really want to give a damn about the comments, but I've got one particular troll who's got a bit of a touch on for me, but regarding why I'm not going to the games, as if that's his biggest concern. But let me just say, I didn't actually expect to get to a game before Christmas, so I'm still only less than three months since I had the operation. So for me to go to any games right now, you know how uncomfortable the seats are at the City Ground. So try and sit there for nearly 2 hours with the state I'm in right now. It's probably not the best idea. Unless Mr. Maranakis
it was only a splinter in your knee, for God's sake. I think you overblown it a bit.
I am milking it. I'm trying to.
Ed, you must be the only one who can fit in the seats in the lower coffee, man.
You know what? And touch on crypto as well. He's not here to defend himself. And have you noticed, crypto's excuse, like you'll ask him, are you going? He goes, no, I'm waiting so I can get 2 seats together. He says it's for its dad, but it's not. It's for each of his fat arse cheeks. You know, that's what it is.
Listen, I've got to be honest with you.
I've got to be honest with you. Let me snag him.
I saw him yesterday before the game. He wasn't with anybody, but I know he had 2 tickets. And exactly. He said to me last week he went in the main stand And he says, I've been in agony since, because, you know, he says you can't fit both cheeks on one seat on them. I think you could be right.
It is true. When you're talking main stand, you're talking Cluffy. Yeah?
Main stand is shocking. It's shocking.
Sorry, I don't know why some of these haven't alerted in the background, but shout out to Curtis. Put 3 super chats in. I just so happened to catch him. He says with the $2, I don't know. 100 million in January is so tempting, bro. No one's coming in with 100 mil in January. I promise.
And let me tell you, Curtis, I wouldn't even open the envelope, mate. 100 million for no. Why?
You'd open the envelope.
With that 100 million, what are we going to do to improve our team? Seriously, in January, what could we do?
No, but it'll improve our PSR situation.
Yeah, it will, but we can wait till the end of the season.
That's all other debate. Curtis with another $2. He goes, Sales has been at fault for almost a goal per game. Thank you, Curtis. But you know, the Sales fan brigade
He's
here,
wasted $2
over here. You know what I'm saying, Curtis? Like, seriously.
Oh, Curtis, I'm afraid to say that's a load of old cobblers.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say, Curtis.
And that ties into his next super chat nicely, because Ant said it in a condescending tone just there to you, Curtis. And it's like you preempted
Curtis,
it with the $2.
The reason for that is it's because the only way you can deal with people who are idiotic like yourself.
That's harsh, man. Curtis is very.
He's been horrible to me. He's been horrible to me. He's not cry. He wants me to cry. He wants me to cry. Is that any way to talk to another human being?
Yeah.
I've never said to Curtis, I hope you cry. I hope you're that sad and upset that you cry. No, that's not
a
nice.
Human being, isn't it?
So therefore, I can retaliate.
I agree.
I thought he was going to say, Curtis is bang on. Auntie's far too condescending.
Oh, no, it is true. You are condescending.
I'm only kidding, Curtis. By
anyway, I got to jump over to Husam's stream. I'm going to send you over to Igal.
Oh, no, they bloody won, man. Don't go on that stream.
Oh, man. I know. He is talking facts and is condescending. He is condescending. Okay.
Honestly, you know what? I think you're probably right, but I don't mean to be. It's just the way I talk, and it's terrible.
Even the way he just said that.
I'll give myself a good hidings immediately after the.
And he said that in a condescending tone as well. All right, guys, make sure you make sure you subscribe. Tell Igal, say Wolfie says hi in the chat when you go in there. Give him a like as well. I'm over on Husam's channel.
You've not put the I love Ant bloody comment up, have you? No, you're not done that.
Oh, it's only Brucey, man. It doesn't count. It does. There you go. You're not even looking.
That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me.
I agree. Kurt's 100% right, Red Bull. Big up to you. All right, I'll see you over if you want to see me on Husam's channel. Otherwise, I'll send you to Igal, and I will be back with a video tomorrow. Make sure you make sure you subscribe. Check out the sponsors. OK Jerseys, 15 quid for your shirts. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.